There's a simple routine you can do tonight, in under 3 minutes, that changes what your mouth smells like the second you open your eyes tomorrow. No new product, no stronger mouthwash, just a routine. But before you write it down, you have to understand one thing almost nobody tells you. Because if you do the routine right and understand the reason wrong, the smell always comes back. Here's what nobody explains about morning breath. It has almost nothing to do with the last thing you ate. You can brush for 2 full minutes, go to bed with a mouth that feels perfectly clean, and still wake up 8 hours later with breath that could clear a room. And most people blame dinner. They blame the garlic, the coffee, the onions on the burger, but the food is long gone. What you smell in the morning wasn't left over from last night. It was manufactured overnight while you slept by something that is living in your mouth right now. Let me tell you exactly what happens the moment you fall asleep. During the day, your mouth is protected by something you never think about: saliva. And saliva isn't just water. It carries oxygen, it washes away food, it quietly controls the population of bacteria on every surface inside your mouth. As long as saliva is flowing, your mouth is a hostile place for the specific bacteria that cause bad breath. During the day, you're covered. Then, you lie down and close your eyes. And within minutes, your body does something that feels completely harmless, but changes everything. It slows saliva production down to almost nothing. That is the turning point. That is the exact moment this entire routine is built to prepare for. Because the bacteria that cause bad breath share one strange feature. They hate oxygen. They're called anaerobic bacteria, which is just a technical way of saying they only thrive when oxygen disappears. During the day, flowing saliva keeps them crushed and suppressed. At night, when the saliva dries up, the oxygen drops with it, and your mouth becomes the exact warm, still, airless environment these bacteria have been waiting for all day. And then they eat. This is the part that turns your stomach a little. They feed on protein, tiny scraps of it, dead cells shedding off your cheeks and gums, leftover food proteins wedged in the gaps, the mucus that slides down from the back of your nose while you sleep. And as they tear those proteins apart, they release a gas. Not a metaphor, an actual gas. A whole family of compounds built around sulfur. It's the same chemistry that makes rotten eggs smell like rotten eggs. That gas is your morning breath. You are, quite literally, waking up inside a slow overnight fermentation. So now the real question: where is this happening? Because if you don't know where, you can't stop it. Most people assume it's the teeth. It isn't. Not mostly. You can have flawless teeth and still have breath that makes people take a step back. The single largest source of that overnight gas isn't your teeth at all. It's your tongue. And more specifically, the very back of your tongue, the part you can barely see. Look at the surface of your tongue closely, and you'll notice it isn't smooth. It's covered in thousands of tiny raised bumps, and between them, microscopic valleys. That texture is a perfect trap. It holds a soft film, a coating of bacteria, dead cells, and protein, and it holds all of it exactly where saliva reaches the least and oxygen drops the fastest. The back third of your tongue is, for these anaerobic bacteria, prime real estate. It's where almost all of the smell is made. And here is the uncomfortable part. When you brush your teeth at night and climb into bed feeling clean, you've just scrubbed the one area that produces the least odor and left the biggest source in your entire mouth completely untouched. That's why the minty feeling fades and the breath comes back. You treated the symptom for 20 minutes and left the factory running all night. So let's build the routine. And I want you to notice how simple it is. Because the power isn't in doing something dramatic. It's in doing the right small things, in the right order, right before the saliva shuts off. Step 1 is mechanical, and it's the one everyone already does, just halfway. You clean your teeth, and more importantly, the spaces between them. Those gaps trap protein exactly like the tongue does, and no rinse on earth reaches inside them. Physically disrupting that trapped material by brushing and cleaning between the teeth pulls out the fuel before the bacteria ever get to use it overnight. And notice the logic here, because it changes how you think about all of this. We are not trying to kill every last bacterium. We're taking away their food. A well-fed colony makes gas all night long. A starving one can barely make any at all. Step 2 is the step almost everyone skips, and it's the one that matters the most. You clean your tongue, not a quick swipe at the tip. the back. Using a tongue scraper, or honestly the edge of a spoon if that's all you've got, you gently reach toward the back third and draw the coating forward and off. And I'll warn you now, you'll be a little disturbed by what comes off the first time. That soft film sliding off the scraper is the single richest source of overnight odor in your whole mouth. Removing it before bed is the entire difference between a factory that runs all night and one you shut down before you even close your eyes. And this is the moment I have to say something clearly, because there's a very good chance you've been reaching for the wrong tool for years. Mouthwash. Specifically the strong, burning, alcohol-based kind. It feels like it's working. That sharp sting feels like power, like it's scorching the bacteria off every surface. But here's what that burn is actually doing. Alcohol dries out soft tissue. And you are about to walk into 8 hours of a mouth that already goes bone dry on its own. So the very last thing you did before bed was pour in something that dries it out even faster and strips away that thin protective layer of moisture. For a huge number of people, the harsh rinse they use to fight bad breath is quietly making the overnight dryness worse, which feeds the exact bacteria they're trying to destroy. The tool feels like the solution and behaves like the problem. So step 3 replaces it. Instead of drying your mouth out right before the driest stretch of your entire day, you do the opposite. You help it stay a little more protected. And this is where xylitol earns its place. Xylitol is a natural sweetener, and the bacteria in your mouth try to feed on it, but they can't actually use it. So it jams up their ability to grow, and it gently encourages saliva instead of stripping it away. A xylitol lozenge or mint after you've cleaned. Something to work on as you settle into bed, leaves your mouth in the exact opposite state from where alcohol leaves it. A little moister. A little less welcoming to the bacteria you just cleared out. Now, there's one last piece, and it's the one that explains why some people do everything right and still wake up dry and sour. It has nothing to do with cleaning. It's how you breathe while you sleep. If you sleep with your mouth open, you spend the entire night dragging air across every surface inside your mouth, evaporating what little moisture is left. You could scrape, clean, and do all of it perfectly. And mouth breathing will quietly undo a large part of it by morning because it turns the slow overnight drying into a fast one. If you wake up with your lips stuck together and a mouth like paper, there's a very good chance this is part of your story. And it's worth paying attention to which nights it's worst. Just becoming aware that you breathe through your mouth at night and starting to notice it is the first step toward one of the biggest overnight improvements most people never even think to make. So let's put the whole routine back together. In order, the way it should run in the last few minutes before you lie down. You clean between your teeth and brush, pulling out the trapped protein. You scrape your tongue, especially that back third, shutting down the single largest source of overnight gas. You finish with xylitol instead of a drying alcohol rinse, leaving your mouth moist and hostile to bacteria instead of dry and inviting. And you pay attention to how you breathe as you drift off, because a closed mouth quietly protects everything you just did. Under 3 minutes, no new expensive product, and it works for a reason almost every other routine completely misses. It's built around the one moment that actually decides your morning breath. The moment your saliva shuts off. So here's the real shift I want you to walk away with. Fresh breath in the morning was never about masking a smell. It was never about a stronger mint or a harsher rinse. It's about who you leave in charge of your mouth for the 8 hours you're not conscious. Do nothing, and you hand the whole place over to a colony of anaerobic bacteria and let them ferment until dawn. Spend 3 minutes and you walk in before bed, take away their food, clear out their headquarters on the back of your tongue, and lock the door behind you. Tonight, run the routine once. Then notice the difference the second you open your eyes. That difference is the entire point, and it's been within reach the whole time.